everybody. Hey, we're a little bit behind, but we're back at PJamma Life. And today, I'm PJamma Life. And today, we have big shows to talk about. So, why don't we get into it? Hey, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves and say hey to the people?
Hello, everybody. This is the cheeky variant. We would have been here on time, but we had to put the timeline back together. As you know, Tom is a huge
Yes.
fan of time travel, and we had to bring in our very own Loki with blonde hair to help take care of it.
Oh, awesome. And our professor of all things Marvel, the marvelous Patrick.
Hey everybody, got some good stuff to talk about today. Looking forward to it.
Yay! We sure do. And just a nod to our friends out there, happy Pride Month. We're doing Sci-Fi Pride this week. And why don't we show our first clip? Today we're reviewing The Bad Batch and the brand new Marvel series, Loki. So here we go. Let's start with Bad Batch.
You're telling me you haven't removed your chips?
No, not yet. If you're concerned about the so-called inhibitor chips, don't be. Our deviant nature appears to have impeded their functionality.
Those chips make you a threat to everyone around you, even her.
Do we really have to do this?
If Rex is sure, we should trust him.
Relax, this won't hurt a bit.
Back up!
You're in direct violation of Order 66.
Oh man, there he is. What we were scared of happening has happened. Wrecker's chip is kicked in. So, David, why don't you talk about what you thought of the episode?
You know, the Bad Batch continues to not disappoint. This was a great episode on a lot of levels. Wonderful to see Rex. You're kind of wondering when some of the other Clone Wars characters were going to make their appearance. I still think Ahsoka did last week, but we've got Rex in the flesh here. It was well done. I mean, it wasn't very subtle. We knew that something was going to happen with Wrecker and the chip. It looks like that arc, that aspect of the story has been resolved. My favorite part of this entire episode, watching Wrecker and Omega early when they were in the cantina, sharing that, hot fudge sundae from a galaxy far, far away, if you will, whatever that munchie, the melty munchie or whatever that was. I thought that was really cool. You see her connection with these guys, and she touches them. She touches each one of these very hard, stern soldiers, and she gets them in the heart. And it's really kind of a beautiful aspect of the story. And even the way Wrecker was apologizing at it, there's a real humanity. And so it was fun. It was entertaining. Rhea Perlman, small role, but continues to not disappoint. Big win. And then I guess it was the Scavenger Guild that said, report this to the Empire. So let's see what happens next week. Good stuff.
It's going to be interesting. Pat, what did you think?
Well, I like it. I agree. It was a really good episode. We did see the Wrecker chip malfunction coming for a while. It was good to see Rex back. Really good character, and he was the first one to get his chip removed and get around the whole Order 66 maneuver. Like I said, like Dave said, it was really a good episode. I mean, there was nothing to complain about. It was pretty foreordained. Like I said, we've seen they were definitely building towards this chip malfunction for 3 or 4 episodes. But now we got to go to the next portion of the story, it seems like, because they're all going to get their chip removed. So now we get to see where they're going past this little roadblock they built into it.
The our timeline is just But yes, the although I did have some issues because when I saw it, I thought to myself, oh, the Rhea Perlman character, she's kind of a jerk. So she's becoming a jerk. And so I'm wondering if she will sell them out at some point because she doesn't seem to be very loyal. She's loyal to seems like she's loyal to the dollar. And I didn't really like how she's been deceptive about their payment. So I thought she would be, kind of above board and to be, but she's hiring mercenaries, so she's got to do what she's got to do. But I just kind of didn't like that kind of sneakiness of her character with them. I don't think that bodes well for their relationship. But
You're right, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, Wrecker, he's putting a lot of stuff on their tab. He's
Yeah,
like,
that was funny.
So I mean, that money's got to come from somewhere.
Right.
But before the show, we were talking about a favorite show of ours, Firefly, and one line from that initial episode talking about betrayal. It'll be an interesting day when if Sid decides to sell them out to Admiral Rampart or whatever Imperial or Fennec Shan down the road. We will see.
Right.
It'll be an interesting day.
Right. And I really like the character, and I hope that that they don't go in that direction, so that maybe that character can continue on in the series. But everything's up for grabs in the universe, and I really like the but part of me too was like, they got tech and I was like, don't you read contracts? This is a contracts issue. Always ask questions about the money. I know that's just the technical person in me, but I really like that they brought Rex back of the Clone Wars episodes that I've been through. He's been a fantastic character, so it's nice to see him back. And I'll have to go back and look and see what happened to him with his ship, and see, if something happened in the episodes before to kind of catch up on his story. So I'm hoping that he sticks around with them and becomes a part of the team too. But we'll see in the future. I mean, it's kind of like frustrating. The episodes are so short, right? They're only half hour, and it's like,
you want
man,
more.
but yeah, and they pack a lot in that half hour, and a lot of storyline in a minimal amount of time. So I guess this arc is over. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll get back to the Empire and having to, if Crosshair will come back. We'll see, Crosshair come back into the picture and what his story is, because part of me was like, well, did it actually work with Crosshair, or was this just Crosshair who he was anyway? It wouldn't have mattered, because I remember in the first episode he was already kind of salty about them not following orders, and already before the chip was activated, he was kind of growly about them not following orders and protocol and things like that. So I wonder if we'll see that down the road, that Crosshair's chip never really activated. He just got sick of them and wanted to do his own thing. So it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot to unpack, and I think this series goes until August, I believe. So we have a lot more, 8 or 10 weeks, maybe 12 weeks or more episodes. So who knows where to go.
Keep it going. It's been much better than I expected.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
really, I've really liked it. I knew it'd be all right. Star Wars. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to like it. But I've really enjoyed this. This was
yeah,
fun.
yeah. And I usually watch them at least twice, sometimes more. And sometimes with some shows, you kind of, you know, you just kind of halfway watch it or something. But with these, I'm like glued both times I watch. So it's very well written
Yeah.
and well drawn. This week's episode was really interesting. I don't know if it was one of the better animated visuals this week, but I really enjoyed the lightness of it too.
Hmm.
So we'll see what happens next week on the Bad Batch. But speaking of time, time is a clock of the heart, and one of my favorite songs to talk about one of my favorite characters of Loki. He finally gets his own show and his own series. So let's take a look at a clip from the new series on Disney Plus, Loki.
Where's Loki? Loki?
Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm Miss Minutes, and it's my job to catch you up before you stand trial for your crimes. So let's not waste another minute. Settle in, sharpen your pencils, and check this out.
This is fine Asgardian leather.
Please confirm to your knowledge that you are not a fully robotic being. We're born an organic creature and do in fact possess what many cultures would call a soul.
What? To my knowledge? Do a lot of people not know if they're robots?
I'm Agent Mobius, by the way.
Are you taking me somewhere to kill me?
No, that's where you just were. I'm taking you someplace to talk.
You do know yourself.
A villain.
That's not how I see it.
Fugitive variant's been killing our Minutemen.
And you need the God of Mischief to help you stop them.
That's right.
I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
What? Infinity Stones? How do you have these?
Oh, we actually got a lot of those. Yeah, some of the guys use them as paperweights. Some of them.
Ooh, kind of a devastating little section there about the Infinity Stones. So this is a whole new realm that we're entering into. And why don't we start with Patrick and tell us what you think of this episode of Loki?
Wonderful introduction to the what we got going on here. You have, first off, let me just talk about the sets at the Time Variance Authority. Those were amazing. It was a wonderful combination of Jetsons architecture and 70s kitsch.
Yes,
it was beautiful. And I mean, every scene with the slightly yellow filter they had on everything kind of gave it that old feel, but yet, you know, kind of futuristic feel. Really a timeless look, which was just really amazing. Wonderful way of, you know, taking Loki down a few pegs. They put him in there and said, hey, look, everything you got is not that important. Everything you know, you don't know. And these Infinity Stones, yeah, they're really powerful where you are, but here they're just paperweights. So much great stuff, you know. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, Loki was one of the biggest, baddest villains, and I don't want to give away too much, but I suspect I know who the villain is at the end. It ain't Loki.
No, I think we know who it is because of the announcement of the Doctor Strange movie. and the main villain in that character. So I think we know.
I haven't seen who the villain is, but I suspect who I think it is, because there's a very big time invested villain throughout a lot of the Marvel books.
Well, go ahead and make your prediction, and then
Kang.
we'll see.
It's Kang the Conqueror.
Yes,
it's Kang the Conqueror, who is a big villain throughout many books. You know, comes through, comes in, goes out. He's a time traveler. So this really ties into the whole Loki, whatever they got going on here. And you never see his face. They kind of hint that it's Loki, you know, with that last little shot, you know, of the guy walking up out of the flames with a hood. Kind of could be Loki, could be anybody. I think it's Kang, and they're leading you towards the next big property, which is going to be obviously Doctor Strange. You also, you know, I mean, the next movie coming out is, of course, Black Widow, but that's going to be just a prequel, so it has nothing to do with the continuing storyline. So, I mean, we're going to have all kinds of stuff kind of going on. This may be a way to bring, you know, Natasha back into the MCU with the whole time travel thing. You know, there's could be some interesting stuff going on here. So, yeah, totally loved it, by the way. And, you know, considering it's Pride Month, of course, too. You do understand that Loki in Norse mythology was not just strictly male. He was gender fluid. He was actually in actual canonical type of Norse legends. He was the father of Hela. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Not the father, the mother, I should say, I guess, in the particular legends that deal with Hela, the goddess of death and the underworld. So, yeah, really interesting stuff. And, you know, I've seen several posts where they zoom really in on his like folder, and it says gender fluid, because Loki canonically is. And when I say canonically, I don't mean just about pop culture canon. I'm talking about Norse religious canon. He was actually gender fluid, you know. So good stuff all the way around.
See, that's why we come to the guru of all things Marvel, because I didn't know that little feature. Which makes it a perfect like introduction during Pride Month. So if you know that and you know it's Pride Month, that's a wonderful kind of beginning to this very interesting series. David, what did you think?
You know, Marvel has just not disappointed this. I mean, if I thought, and it was, WandaVision was a unique kind of turn things on its head with its story and where it's going, and kind of scratch your head. This did too. I mean, I loved when we had the Tennessee Valley Authority. I thought they were fantastic. Patrick's comments there.
Wait a minute.
TVA.
TVA.
The TVA is Time Variant Authority.
Well,
Tennessee Valley Authority.
To someone of David's geographic persuasion, that is the Tennessee Valley Authority, by the way.
Well, and the narrator, the cartoon voice, I loved that. You know, it's like, let's go out to the lobby. That she sounded like she was from right out of Nashville. So I just thought this was fantastic. Love to see Owen Wilson. He was great. Haven't seen him this fun or entertaining since Wedding Crashers. So that's been a minute at this point for me. I just love it. I love the fact we're seeing who has been a archetype antagonist up to this point, and now he's clearly the protagonist with this. And one of the other things that really stood out to me, as I will be going back to work when we're done with this tonight, is WandaVision. The similarity that WandaVision and this show has with the mundane look of the white collar jobs. We saw that with Vision and his jobs with those other people that were abducted into the WandaVision world, and they're not sure what they really do. And then you see with the Tennessee Valley Authority people where, you know, it's this old school 70s kind of thing, you know, and they don't even know, gut you like a fish. I don't even know what a fish is. That was just a great line. But this is a fun show. I certainly am very much a novice in compared to the two of you when it comes to the Marvel lore, but the multiverse, this was great. And and the cartoon that they had there, that reminded me a little bit I wouldn't say it's like an Easter egg, but it was like a similarity to the little animated cartoon they had in Jurassic Park when they had that,
Yeah.
you know, like explaining how the dino DNA and all.
Yeah.
And this is the timelines and the time lords or whatever they were mixing up with Doctor Who there. I just thought this was a lot of fun. I don't know where we're going, but it's a fun ride. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and lots of great cameos. The I think it was Agent B-15, who captured Loki. She was one of my favorite characters in Lovecraft Country that
Oh.
was out this time of year.
Okay.
And also, who's going to play what is it, Kang the Conqueror, is Jonathan Majors, who was also in Lovecraft Country. So I think that show is pulling in a lot of actors to the Marvel universe, which is fantastic. And I saw her on Good Morning America this week, and her and Tom Hiddleston went to school together. They went to drama school together in England, and they were good friends. And there was a funny story she told about they were doing some acting, and it was some physical kind of acting, and she punched him and like knocked him to the floor. And so he keeps teasing her in real life on the set about, you remember when you punched me? Just don't do that again, you know. So it's interesting how small the world is. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have put those two together, but they are both really great actors. And you know me, now I have to say this, and I will probably say this throughout, which is I don't like time travel stuff. And so this is actually really good. I'm going to put my hatred of all things time travel aside and give it a fair shake. But it's like, why do they have to do time? Oh. But I thought it was really an interesting take, because so now I guess this Loki is not the Loki we saw in Endgame, and this is the Loki from 2012. So this is a very, still kind of has the view of conquering everything and being the Lord, the God of all things, I guess, of Earth, which I kind of was agreeing with Mobius that you want to be the god of Midgard. I mean, Earth is such a small planet to be the ruler of, as opposed to the billions, trillions of other worlds out there. So, but I really thought it was interesting, Mobius, and I was looking up some Easter eggs, and apparently there's a shot of Peggy Carter in the Time Variant Authority, David. And
cheeky variant to you for this episode.
know, right? And hey, Tim Windsor has joined us. Hi, Tim Windsor. And Electric Melanin has found us. So hey, our good pals out there. But I thought that it was interesting. Mobius. What is Mobius? What is the Mobius strip? It's a never-ending strip. So I thought his name was very interesting. And I guess in the comics, everybody in the TVA looks like Mobius. His name is Mobius M. Mobius. So even his name is the same backwards and forwards. So I thought that was a nice nod to the comics. And I think that it's going to have to do some work to convince people like me about, okay, so how does this now impact the other series of movies? Because if this is Loki from the past, and you see they showed shots of his timeline, then if that changes, then doesn't everything change? So this is the part they're gonna have to convince me that how this is all gonna work out, so that why would they? Are they gonna have to trash what the 20 some movies from
No, no,
all
no,
of
no,
before?
no,
Because if
Well,
you
they
change,
some of that already. Go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, I was going to say that they explain. I was going to say the same thing you're probably about to say. They explained that already, kind of with the whole the sacred timeline. What was it? And he's like, "Well, was Captain America supposed to go back and live his life in the past?" And he's like, "Yeah, that was part of the sacred timeline." So
that's kind
yes,
of
that
weird.
was approved. Well, I mean, the loop works if you just don't know about the loop.
I don't know. That whole part of Endgame, I kind of was like, meh.
Well, I love your consistency, though, Pam. I think that we've kind of joked about the whole thing, but I love the fact we're watching an entire show about time travel, including we found out who DB Cooper is, like in the first few minutes.
Oh my god, that was hilarious! Yeah, super
That was
funny.
pretty cool. So we got it. We're gonna. It's gonna be a little bit of a leap of faith, but you do have a TARDIS on your shirt, so there's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a lot of time travel on
Yeah.
your shirt there.
Yeah.
With that, so because Star Trek, they went to every planet like Earth's past, which is the same thing as time travel.
Yeah.
Or two production value.
and actual time travel on top of that.
That's right.
Yes.
They did
Yes.
by accident and on purpose. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a trope of sci-fi that I just think is tired. But I love Tom Hillsworth, and that shot of him when they took his clothes, I was like, yes, for the ladies. Finally. So I was quite pleased with that. And I was that kept my attention for the rest of the show. And I think it's going to be interesting because what I thought was the most interesting part was when Mobius was actually having a therapy session with Loki. And I thought that him kind of challenging him about his actions and his history really was one of the best parts of the show, because I think that's kind of a challenging thing for the series, is to take a villain the way he has been and turning him into a protagonist. Now, this is a thing these days with explaining people's bad behavior, and kind of making them justify their bad decisions or whatever. But I was just glad they didn't show the Dark World, which was one of the worst of the Marvel shows. But I think it's interesting. I mean, I thought it was funny, but I was kind of like, well, now what? When they just kind of threw the Tesseract in the bin with all the other Infinity Stones. But in the prior movies, they described the Infinity Stones as the 5 elemental stones of the universe. So I'm confused now about what that meant, because now that really changes the kind of storyline of the other movies. So if the Infinity Stones aren't the most powerful elemental things in the universe and can warp time and space and matter and all the other things it did, and they're just in a drawer some lackey's desk, then it's not making sense. That part's not making sense.
Well, I would suspect that it's due to the fact of the multiverse, because there's not just one set of Infinity Stones. There are multitudes of Infinity Stones. In each universe, there would be their own set of Infinity Stones, and then you have this one overarching agency, granted power by the Sacred Timekeepers or whatever it was, and they are going to be able to They have to be able to deal with all the different universes, all the different multiverses, and so they have to have a spot where certain rules don't apply. Where like the same way that time doesn't apply to it doesn't apply in the same manner that it does when you get close to light speed as it does when you're at like regular velocity. Closer you get light speed, the way time dilates. There's things that go within that. The rules of the universe.
Like saying that.
Well, no, it's just because. Well, no, that's a great example of how time is not as constant as people want to make it, especially people named Pam. It's not quite that constant. It is variable. It is flexible within certain constraints. We don't know maybe all the constraints, perhaps, and that's what they're kind of alluding to, that in this special area where the Tennessee Valley Authority runs the area, they have a special set of physical rules where the Infinity Stones are just paperweights.
Yeah. Time keeps on slipping into the
future.
future.
Lord, here we go.
Slipping into the future.
Think to Men in Black, though. Like at the, like how you had that universe inside the little jewel. Yeah. The Infinity Stones are like the most important thing in this known universe. But you go up to another altitude and you can see how much bigger things are. And I think that's what these time rulers, time lords, whoever, I'm assuming it's Doctor Who at the end of this we're going to meet.
Oh, Lord.
God, that'd be amazing. Which Doctor, though?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, we got at least 12, right? So
we're on 13 right now.
13, right? 13. That's 13.
Jodie Whittaker's number 13. Yeah, she's awesome.
So I was trying to think what the show kind of themes, the kind of other movies it reminded me of, and a couple were Defending Your Life. If you've ever had the chance to see Defending Your Life, go watch it. It's a beautiful movie. It's actually one of my all-time favorite movies. Oh shoot, I was trying to think of another one that it reminded me of. Well, Dwayne DeMarco says that there's a little Goodwill Hunting in Robin Williams and Matt Damon's kind of therapy sessions, which that kind of struck me as an interesting dynamic too. But there's just a lot in here to take in, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna hold my nose on the time travel stuff and see kind of where it goes, because I was looking at some of the Easter eggs, and the judge that Loki has to go and see is the fantastic Gugu Mbatha Raw, who you may have seen in a lot of different movies, but her character, Ravenna, I forget her last name, is a girlfriend to Kang the Conqueror. So I think this might be the way that they might introduce. I think this is the vehicle to really introduce Doctor Strange and is it Multiverse of Madness? I think it's what the title is. It is. I think you're going to see a lot of things that, kind of lead up to what's going to happen in that movie. And that is coming out next year?
I think it's Christmas.
Is it this year? The end of this year?
I think it's Christmas. See, I'm trying to remember. I know that the Black Widow is this summer, and the Christmas movie is either that one or the new Spider-Man one. I'm not sure which one. I can't remember.
Right. I don't know.
Great.
But yeah, I think it is coming out Christmas.
I'm thinking it was Christmas, though.
I think you're right.
Which would be great. Maybe everything will be right and we'll all be able to go. We'll have 80-90% vaccination and can fully integrate society again. Let's hope. So, do we have any final thoughts on Loki or Bad Batch?
You said John Majors is scheduled to be Kang in this show. Is that right?
Yeah. He won't. I don't think he will be in this show,
Oh,
Jonathan
but he's going to be
Majors.
Kang in the movie. Okay.
Yes, he's going to
Right.
be Kang in the Doctor Strange movie.
I'm kind of shocked about that. Well, one, I thought he was dead, but he is a vastly underrated football coach from the University of Tennessee, which goes right into the whole Tennessee Valley Authority thing. That's a bad reference. I'm sure our audience doesn't remember old Johnny Majors, but nonetheless, I had to throw that in there with the TVA reference because I did not know the actor John Major, who was also a pretty good prime minister in England. He's
I do remember that one. Yeah.
He's very diverse. I gotta say that, man.
All over the place. He's in everything.
Yeah.
Running England, running football. Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Probably the time travel that lets him do that.
That's right. Let's all get in our DeLorean. Join me in the DeLorean, Pam, and we will take you back.
No.
And get her up to 88. Yep, there we go.
Oh no. Don't torture me. Stop torturing me. Pat, you have any final thoughts on?
No, I just it's a wonderful introduction. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole story now.
Yeah.
Oh, Dwayne DeMarco says that Doctor Strange is now set for March
of
2022. I mean, with the pandemic and everything, all the schedule got blown, I think. So, that I'm glad to see that. Give it more time. I mean, I'm kind of concerned though with Black Widow because that took quite a long time to come out. So
I'll go see it in a movie. I bet you money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but
I'm
it better
gonna
be
watch
good.
it.
I just want it to be good. That's why.
There. I mean, I've got the HBO Max. There's things that are coming on that I'm like, I can see it at the theater. I can see it here, and I'm like, some things I'm like, yeah, I want to see it here. I don't want to go to the theater, but man, Black Widow, I'm going to see it in a theater. Dune, I'm going to see in a theater. Several movies I've got to see in a theater.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see a couple of the big movies. I don't know if I'm ready to go to the theater, so
We're going tomorrow.
Okay, you can tell me what it's like, and then a week later I'll go get a COVID test and make sure.
We both got our shots. We're going to go do it.
Okay.
What are you seeing? We can ask.
Yeah.
We were looking at In the Heights or A Quiet Place 2.
Okay.
No, don't go see In the Heights in the theater and possibly risk your health. Watch that on HBO Max.
Well, I'm not going to. Okay, Dune's going to come out on HBO Max, but I'm going to watch Dune on a big screen.
Yeah,
it's
but
too
not
big.
In the Heights.
I don't know. We got a Regal Pass got kicked back on, so here we are. So I got another 8 months of going to movies. Don't cost me anything. So yeah. I'm not risking my health. I got my shots. I'm going to try to. I understand.
You can still get it, even though you have your shots. I have my friend of my sister's had it, and then got the shot, and got COVID too. So just
we'll still wear masks except when we're eating our popcorn.
Social distance, do all those things you're supposed to do.
Oh, we will. Don't worry.
Yeah, so before we go, today is a special day for those of us who are, there's quite a couple number of things. We're celebrating Pride Month, but as well, today is Loving Day, and it's to celebrate the Supreme Court's ruling on today in 1967 that allowed interracial couples to get married. And so I wanted to read the Supreme Court ruling. So it's under our Constitution, the freedom to marry or not marry a person of another race resides with the individual and cannot be infringed upon by the state. These convictions must be reversed. It is so ordered. That's one of the shortest and simplest, but most impactful of the Supreme Court rulings. And so we celebrate it. I'm in an interracial relationship, have been for over 35 years. And so we celebrate it. And today is also National Rosé Day. So here's to all the couples out there who found love in an alternative way, either gay or straight or interracial. Love is love. So cheers and to you, and take care. Remember, here at PJamma Life, we support you and want you to live the best life possible. So, cheers and see you next time. Bye.
So long, everybody.
See ya.